Imagine this. Mark Manson, a former blogger and lover of witty provocations, once decided to write a book that would turn conventional ideas about happiness on their head. That's how the 2016 bestseller, The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Counterintuitive Approach to Living a Good Lifetimes, came about. This is not a typical motivational treatise with calls to believe in yourself and reach for the stars. On the contrary, Manson proposes a sober look at life. Stop chasing illusions and learn to accept reality as it is. Interesting fact about the book. Mark Manson wrote The Subtle Art of Not Giving Effect Times after his article on the same topic went viral, garnering over 2 million views in a couple of days. The book, published in 2016, has sold over 15 million copies and been translated into 65 languages, making it one of the most popular nonfiction works of the 21st century. Interestingly, Manson did not originally plan to write a bestseller. He just wanted to share his thoughts while sitting in an apartment in South America. Why read this book? If you are tired of the endless pressure to be the best, or feel that happiness is slipping away despite all your efforts, this guide is for you. Manson teaches you to choose what to spend your energy on and what to simply let go of. Rule 1, don't try. Manson begins with a paradox. The more we strive for happiness through endless effort, the unhappier we become. He suggests giving up the obsessive desire to be constantly positive and accepting life with its imperfections. Stop trying to control everything and achieve perfection in all things. Manson argues that the constant tension from trying to be better than everyone else is only exhausting, while a relaxed attitude toward trifles frees up energy for what is important. Focus on what truly matters to you personally. The author advises defining your priorities and not spending energy on societal expectations or unnecessary goals. Suppose you worry every day that you can't get all your household chores done perfectly. Following Manson's idea, you decide that a clean living room is important, but perfect order in the closet is not, and you simply close the door without wasting time on it. You feel relieved and go for a walk with friends, which is more valuable to you. This chapter teaches that happiness is not in endless effort, but in the ability to let go of the unnecessary. Manson sets the tone for the whole book. Less hustle, more meaning. Rule 2, happiness is a problem. Here the author explains that life consists of problems, and happiness is not their absence, but the choice of which difficulties you are willing to handle. Problems are inevitable, but their quality defines your life. Accept that suffering and difficulties are part of existence, and running from them is pointless. Manson says that attempts to avoid problems lead to emptiness, while accepting them provides purpose. Choose problems that inspire you, not exhaust you. The author suggests evaluating your goals by whether you are willing to endure the associated difficulties. You dream of learning to play the guitar. It's difficult. Your fingers hurt, and the chords aren't working. But you decide that you enjoy the learning process itself, and you continue, because the goal to play your favorite songs is worth the effort. Unlike, say, mindlessly scrolling social media. The chapter shows that happiness is a conscious choice of your battles. Manson turns the conventional idea on its head. Problems are not enemies, but companions to a good life. Rule 3, you are not special. Manson debunks the myth of everyone's exceptionalism, arguing that the belief in one's uniqueness often leads to disappointment and egoism. He urges you to accept your ordinary nature as a liberating truth. Stop considering yourself the center of the universe. This reduces the pressure of expectations. The author explains that the world does not owe you a special place, and that's okay. Focus on real actions, not fantasies about your greatness. Manson advises evaluating yourself by your deeds, not by an imagined status. You are upset that you were not praised at work for a project because you considered yourself the most talented. Accepting Manson's idea, you stop waiting for applause and instead ask colleagues how to improve the work and move forward without resentment. The chapter frees you from illusions and teaches humility. Manson reminds us, being ordinary is not a failure, but a chance to live simply and honestly. Rule 4, the value of suffering The author expands on the idea that suffering is inevitable, but its meaning depends on what you are enduring it for. He suggests suffering for meaningful goals, not for trifles. Suffering gains value if it is connected to a goal that is important to you. Manson believes that meaningless suffering, for example, due to someone else's opinion, should be discarded, while meaningful suffering should be accepted. Define your values to understand what is worth fighting for. The author recommends asking yourself what is truly important to you and directing your efforts there. You are tired while studying for an exam, but you understand that this is suffering for the dream of becoming a doctor. You compare this to worrying about gossip about you and decide that the latter is not worth a minute of your time. The focus remains on studying. Manson teaches that suffering is a tool, not a curse. The main thing is to choose what you are willing to endure it for. Rule 5, you are always choosing. Here, the author emphasizes that we are responsible for our reactions and decisions, even if we cannot control circumstances. Freedom lies in the choice of attitude toward life. You are not a victim of circumstances, but an active participant in your destiny. Manson argues that even in a bad situation, you can choose how to act or feel. Take responsibility for your emotions and actions without shifting the blame to others. The author advises stopping the complaining and looking for what you can do right now. You are fired from your job. Instead of blaming your boss, you decide, I can't get the job back, but I can update my resume and find something better. You begin to act, feeling in control of the situation. The chapter inspires an active stance. Life is your choices. Manson gives power through the realization of personal responsibility. Rule 6, you're wrong about everything, and I am too. Manson explains that our beliefs are often wrong, and that's okay. He urges you to doubt yourself, to grow, and avoid the blind certainty that leads to stagnation. Our ideas about the world are not always correct, and acknowledging this opens the path to development. Manson believes that stubbornly clinging to your truths prevents learning and adaptation. Regularly review your beliefs by asking yourself questions. The author advises testing your views for strength to abandon outdated or false ideas. You are sure that you need an expensive car for happiness. But following Manson's advice, you ask yourself, is that really true? And realize that travel brings you more joy than a status car, and you shift your focus. The chapter teaches flexibility and humility before the unknown. Manson shows that doubt is not a weakness, but a strength that leads to growth. Rule 7, failure is moving forward. Here, the author asserts that failures are not the end of the road, but a part of it. He views failures as lessons that bring you closer to success if used correctly. Don't be afraid to make mistakes, because every failure is an experience. Manson explains that avoiding failures slows down development, while accepting them helps you move forward. Analyze your mistakes to learn from them. The author suggests, after every failure, drawing specific conclusions that can be applied in the future. You launched a business, but it failed. Instead of giving up, you analyze what went wrong, poor marketing and haste, and the next time you spend more time planning, which leads to success. Manson transforms failure from an enemy into an ally. The chapter inspires you to see opportunities, not dead ends, in failures. Rule 8, the importance of saying no. The author emphasizes that the ability to refuse the unnecessary is the key to freedom and focus. He teaches setting boundaries to conserve energy for what is truly important. Refusing the superfluous helps you focus on your values. Manson argues that an endless yes to everything exhausts you and leads you away from your main goals. Practice clear and calm refusals without feeling guilty. The author advises saying no to what does not align with your priorities to protect your time and energy. A friend asks for help with moving, but you have a planned evening with your family that you cherish. You politely refuse. Sorry, I have plans, and spend time with your loved ones, feeling calm and confident. The chapter teaches you to value your resources and boundaries. Manson shows that no is not selfishness, but a way to live consciously. Rule 9, and then you die. Manson concludes the book with a reflection on death as the ultimate motivator. He suggests using the awareness of the finite nature of life to focus on the present and the meaningful. Death reminds us that time is limited, and this encourages us to live more boldly. Manson believes that the fear of the end can become a stimulus to action, not paralysis. Act now, based on the finite nature of life. The author advises imagining that you have little time left to set priorities and discard pettiness. You had put off a trip to visit a friend in another city, thinking you would have time later. Realizing Manson's idea, you buy a ticket for the following week, understanding that the moment might not repeat itself, and you get unforgettable experiences. The chapter forces you to value every day and act without delay. Manson uses death as a mirror, reflecting the importance of life. This is such a wonderful book. I've compiled a separate list of all the important theses from this book, along with all the techniques and tools, and created a step-by-step action plan that you can immediately implement in your life. You can get all this in my community, Place of Power. There, you will find a detailed text analysis with similar lists for each book being reviewed. The community has already thoroughly analyzed and made available to you hundreds of world bestsellers with a new analysis released every day. Follow the link in the description and use it.